Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today in the Elevenses. The episode of today is about export. I am Paula Giro, agency account strategist for the UK market.
And my name is Simone. I work in UK market as account strategist as well.
In the episode of today, we will start with an A/B test, super quick. Simone, are you up to?
Yeah, let's do it.
You can also play. So let's start. So first situation, the next week is your friend's birthday party. What would you give to her? A, sunglasses, or B, rain boots?
Sunglasses is more stylish as a gift. So yeah, sunglasses.
Okay. And for Christmas Eve, what would you say is your favorite dessert? Would it be mince pie or a mango sorbet?
Totally mince pie.
Okay, and last one. When is Mother's Day? A, end of March, B, mid-May?
No idea. Never remember. No, I'm so bad.
Same for me, no worries.
So bad.
No worries. Guys, if you picked only A's, then you will be agreeing with Simone and with most of our colleagues when we run this test. But what if this friend of ours lives in Melbourne, where August and September are the coldest months and it rains quite a lot? And what if we decide to go to Thailand for Christmas? Maybe an ice cream could be a good idea?
Much better, yeah.
And what if we aren't from the UK? Because actually we aren't. I am from Argentina.
And I'm Italian, yeah.
By the way, it is mid-May, Mother's Day in Italy. I've just checked it.
I'll take note. Thank you.
So what we could conclude with this test is that what is common in our market is not only our option A, but also our only option. However, in B alternatives, we can find great opportunities, and especially for your business.
Yeah, this is mainly the reason why we are going to be talking about international growth with Google. That is, in other words, business expansion. We're going to be talking about how to do it with Google and what are the tools available. Now I just leave the agenda over to Paula.
So the agenda for today, we will start with the market fluctuation factors and evaluate the risks and the opportunities. Then we will go to the UK export business in numbers. Then to the Do It with Google, we will have a look in the different tools that will help us to plan, and we will finish with the recommended features and products. We will start with the market fluctuation factors. As we could see in the beginning, seasonality is the main one for our business. In this graph, we can see how in July, the queries for swimwear peaked, and then still were relevant in August, but then it were going down in September, it were going down in the graph and also in the globe. We can see that the countries in the south start peak time in September to finish it in January. And then it starts to be up again in March in the UK. Within the same continent, we can see, for example, here in Spain that they peak in June. So within the same continent, we will see that there are different months that are peak. Something similar will happen, of course, with the winter products or related to winter. And we have other type of seasonalities like the back to school and also the special occasions. We have only one Mother's Day and one Father's Day in the UK, but globally it represents 34 and 30 more opportunities. So if we have products related to these days, then if we see it globally, we can see much more opportunities. Another market fluctuation factor is the economics and trade agreements, and Brexit seems to be like a good example. As we know, the news of Brexit caused the sudden drop of the value of the pound and took it close to the euros. So despite of the effects in the international consumption, it was good for exports since the retail good became from 10 to 15% less expensive for international customers. And here we have other market fluctuation factors. So we have society behavior. We could see in the last 5 years how the interest for ecology, healthy food, and gender matters peaked. So if your brand is aligned to these values or these topics, you might want to find other markets that have same sensibilities because it will be easier to engage with these customers. In terms of market saturation, we can see that rainbows, umbrellas, chocolates, and other products are, we are a mature market for that. So if you want to expand it, we want to go to other markets where there will be people that might consume these goods, but also we will have less competition. And to finalize with the natural accidents. Well, in this case, we cannot prevent it. We don't know where it will happen or when, but what we know is that if we are targeting one sole market and a natural accident happen that might paralyze the economy for days, weeks, or months, then we won't have any gains that compensate the losses. So as we can see, all markets are susceptible to fluctuations. But what never ever happens is that all the markets are fluctuating in the same way at the same time. That's why geographical diversification is a great way to expand your business.
Yeah, so mainly geographical diversification is a way to keep your business fresh, but what are the UK export opportunities in numbers? So what is the landscape really? So here, just to understand what are the top countries for export in UK. UK is exporting to USA, Germany, the Netherlands, France, China, down to Italy. So these are the top 10 countries that account for the 61% of the whole export revenue. But this really takes into account online and offline, so it's not really specific for our purposes. What is probably more interesting is the e-commerce value abroad for UK companies, that back in 2018, it was worth £20 billion, and in 2020, so next year, is expected to be £28 billion. So an increase in 8 billions, that is a big chunk of money, and I guess that our businesses and your business wants to be part of this change really. So you want to open an e-commerce maybe and start exporting because it's growing and growing for the reason that Paula highlighted. Now, what is interesting to understand, even for you to leverage this information and how and why this change happened. And we have individuated two key drivers. One is the increase in the internet population, and the second one is an increase borderless world. In terms of internet population, in 2020, we expect to have over 50% of the world population connected to the internet, which is a massive increase compared to 2017. And this change has been driven up by the decrease in prices for the smartphones and generally speaking, like the increased availability in the smartphones. In terms of like a borderless world, I don't know how you search online, but myself specifically, when I go online, I search for products, I compare prices, I compare feature, but I don't really care where the business is from. I just expect, once it's chosen, I expect the product to be delivered to my house, and quickly as well if possible, right? But exporting to new countries has some cost with that, brings some cost. That is like the translation of the website. What if instead you want to target the British expats in the world? There are 5 million British expats in the world. Average age is 53 years. Split male-female is more or less 50%. The unique selling point, the one that you can take advantage of, is that 43% of them have a higher income than in their home country, so they earn more money. And in case you want to sell home insurances or life insurances, you know that these guys, like a big chunk of these guys, have the financial availability to buy it, right? And you don't even have to translate your website in another language. You can keep it in English. Now, in terms of next countries to target, the British expats diffusion is mainly in Spain, France, and Germany, with 350,000 people in each of these countries. And just to show you that there are English search queries in this country, we ran a test with a keyword search planner. We targeted Spain with English language, and we searched for gravy, right? There are 2,400 search queries for gravy or related to gravy on a monthly basis, right? It's a market that you can leverage, and you can probably sell to these clients directly in English. But how do you do it in practice, right? We know how big is the market. We know what are the opportunities. How can you do it, and how can Google help with that? We have individuated 3 main steps to going global: the planning, the preparing, the operation, and the launch, measure, and build your brand. When it comes to planning and prioritize where your opportunities lies, we talk about understanding your market, understanding your clients. And this is something that we can help with. You just need to go to Think with Google or Market Finder. Here we have an example of Market Finder. You can insert your website URL and automatically the system will give you some country suggestions, countries that shares a similar characteristic to your home country. You can just pick it up. You can pick up one, you can pick two, and then compare the difference. The other tool that you can use is Consumer Barometer to understand how people use the internet around the world. You can create your own graph of how people use the internet, what is the behavior of these people, just to understand how many touch points before a purchase happen in a different country. Something else that you can use is maybe Google Trends. If we would have to use Google Trends for the Mother's Day example that you, Paola, mentioned, you probably see 2 different peaks at 2 different times. And if you compare 3 countries, you will see 3 different peaks in 3 different times. If we jump to the next one, prepare your operations. Here we're talking about tax and legal. We're talking about recruiting. We're talking about customer care or customer experience. Your next, the tool to use is again Market Finder. But let's have a look at some data first, right? The real point here is that if you want to export to a new country, unless there are British expats into it, you have to translate your website, and Google can help with top quality translations. You have to know what are the preferred payment methods. Let's think about a website in the UK that doesn't accept visas, right? That wouldn't be really convenient. So we can help with that. We can offer insights on what are the payment methods in other countries, and we can help in internationalizing your customer service experience, just to avoid any drop in possible clients because they have a bad customer service experience. Again, if you go to Market Finder, once you pick your country, you can go to Plan Your Operation, and you have insights, case studies, and all the material you want on these topics. Last but not least, launch, measure, and build your brand. Here we're talking about having insights on the market. So what are the benchmarks in terms of CPC? Again, your go-to tool is Market Finder. Go to market your business, and you will have insights and case studies on search advertising, display advertising, video, etc., etc. Right. So these are the tools that you can use. I'll leave to Paola the discussion on products and features that you can use in Google Ads.
Yes, we'll finish with the best products and features for export. First we have the smart creatives. So if you don't know so well the demographics of the market, so it's not a big deal. With the A/B test of the responsive search and display ads, you will have the chance to try different headlines and images. Also, the idea is to find out what is the main driver, right, for your potential customers. Maybe it is the quality or the price or the product range. We will find it out with the A/B test. Something similar will happen with the images. If you are in the travel industry, for example, maybe you will engage better with family pictures or couples or solo travelers. Then with the reports, you will have the insights to refine your creatives. With the dynamic search ads, what happens is, this is a good example. What we call in the UK underground or tube, in the US will be subway, and everywhere else it will be metro or metropolitan. So you want to speak the same language and to use the same words that your users or your customers use. So that will give you all the insights. With the smart bidding, something similar happens. So it uses the insights from the verticals in each market. So you don't need to know what would be the ideal CPC or CPA, or you don't need to have either previous data in your account for this location. Then with the audiences, again, we don't have yet the remarketing list or the similar audiences, but we have the chance to use custom intent and in-market. So the system will be targeting the right user at the right moment, and you don't need previous demographics knowledge. So that's great for you as well. And the last one is the smart campaigns. With a smart display with pay-per conversion, the good thing is that you will have presence of your brand, and you will increase your remarketing list while you will be paying only for the conversions, which is especially good for your remarketing campaigns and for your shopping campaigns if you have an e-commerce. because also for your smart shopping, the good thing is that the system will be spotting what are your most profitable products related to the local competition. So just as a summary, what is a good idea is to use all the smart solutions, read the report, find the insights, and then refine the strategies.
Yeah, so these are solutions that you can use all together. You can complement smart creatives with smart bidding and audiences, just to give the system more data to use for bid optimization purposes and to find new clients, really.
Correct. And to finalize here, we will see the takeaways of today. So as we could see in the beginning, seasonality doesn't pass by. It just goes to a different market. So the more we explore, the more we follow the trends, the better the better business decisions we will make.
Yeah, and apart from that, how can you leverage Google when you plan international growth? As we said, you can use Google Trends, Market Finder, the keyword search planner, and if you go to thinkwithgoogle.com, it's plenty of other tools that you can use to plan your next operation. I think that's everything for today. Well, thank you very much, guys, for joining us.
Thanks for joining.